everybody. Hello, I hope you are well. June Allen here, your racial sobriety mentor from juneallen.net, and I teach sisters how to heal from the impact of racism through racial sobriety. So we're just going to wait for a few people to come on. I hope you've had a really good day, and I've had a good day. I've been looking forward to today. I've had an amazing weekend, and I'm looking forward to sharing today's content. So first of all, if you live in the UK, happy Black History Month. Happy Black History Month for everyone that lives in the UK. And if you don't live in the UK, you can still join in, because I've got lots of things I'm going to be sharing with you that will benefit you anyway. I'm going to be kind of revving up a lot of the lives and the information I'm going to be sharing over the next few weeks in honour of Black History Month. So I really hope that you're going to enjoy it. Hi, thanks for joining. If it's the first time that you're joining one of my broadcasts, just drop your name in the comments. Drop your name in the comments so that I can greet you in the yard. I can give you some yard lovage. Just drop your name in the comments. Okay, so first of all, what we're going to do is I'm going to go through some housekeeping. I'm going to go through some housekeeping before we actually get into the content. The topic today is all about 10 ways that Black History Month can build self-esteem. But before we do that, I just want to tell you about a few things that we've got going on. So this broadcast is also inspired by my free Black Self-Love kit. I've talked a lot about Black Self-Love over the last few weeks, and ranging from people just wanting some stuff to kind of top up their own self-care stuff, to people that have just got no idea with where to start around their self-care. So I've created this this kit to help you get started, or to just kind of give you a bit of a boost if you've already started your healing journey. Now you can pick up the kit at blackselflove.juneallen.net. You can find click the link in the description. Inside the kit, there's a free audio course, a free e-course, 7 Days of Revolutionary Black Self-Love. There's also another audio, 15 Reasons Why Black Self-Love is Important. Hi, thanks for joining. And the last one is, there's two other things in there as well. What does self-love feel like? And also how to pick a great Black therapist if you want one. So you can pick that up at blackselflove.juneallen.net. So the other two things I've got going on, which I'm really excited about, are 2 live workshops. I've never done these workshops live before. I've done a lot of virtual stuff, but I haven't done a lot of stuff online. But one of the things that's come out over the last few weeks, just from talking to people, is that people really want something that's in person, something where we can connect, where we can have a conversation, where we can build relationship, build sisterhood. And so I decided that it was time for me to really take some time out and to build something that's going to really help to connect with my sisters in the UK in particular. And I thought, obviously, because it's Black History Month in the UK as well, I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to be able to do that. So I've got 2 workshops. The first one is, excuse me. No, Zoe, you need to go to bed? Okay, just 1 second. I can put my daughter back to bed. Come on. No, it's bedtime. It's bedtime. Sorry about that. Mummy duties never fail. Okay, so apologies for that. So yes, back to housekeeping. So there's 2 workshops. The first one is a mother and daughter workshop where I'm going to be doing the workshop with a wonderful sister called Faith Agugu. And I actually did a mother and daughter's mastermind back in March. And yeah, that was a very, very powerful time to just connect with sisters that were having very difficult relationships with their mums. I talked a lot about, my own relationship with my mum, and it resonated with a lot of sisters. So, but that was online. That was a virtual online thing that I did. So what I want to do in this class is obviously to work with, to do the workshop with Faith, but also do this as a live workshop, so then people can, it's just going to be much more of an intimate space. So I'm really, really excited about that. That one's on the 20th of October, and it's 5 minutes from Bond Street Tube. So if you're interested in that, if you go to events.juneallen.net, link is in the description. You can get your tickets there. Tickets are already starting to sell already for that, and it's going to be a very, very small, intimate gathering of people. We're not going to, we don't want loads and loads of people to come, because it's going to, we didn't want to sort of interrupt the energy of the space. We want to keep it small so people can feel like they can share, and also everybody has a chance to share as well, and really engage in the workshop. So that was on the 20th of October, and then there's on the 27th of October. I'm so excited to be launching my sister circle, my sacred sister circle. It's going to be also a book club as well, and it's not just going to be like an ordinary book club where people kind of discuss the oh, okay, sorry, just have to check my connection was doing something very, very strange. Let me just plug this in. I don't want any weird things happening while I'm doing this broadcast. Okay, so that's plugged in now, so hopefully that will be okay. Right, so so on the 27th of October is going to be the first sister circle. I'm really excited about that. So that's just, it's not going to be an ordinary book club where you just kind of study the text, you have a conversation and then you go home. I wanted to actually take it to the next stage where you actually, yes, we're going to be reading the book, but we're also going to be discussing it, and people will have homework, or what I like to call heart work. Oh, excuse me. People have the opportunity to also do heart work, so they'll have the opportunity to have journal prompts and all of that kind of stuff as well. And also, as part of the Sacred Sister time as well, I want also to be able to teach, what are the characteristics of self-hate? What sort of things can people identify with that they can say to themselves, oh, okay, now I know I've got internalized racism because I identify with X, Y, and Z. So there'll be a list of things that we can talk about as well that's to do with the characteristics of internalized racism. The other thing that I'm going to be sharing in the group as well is, what are the tools? How do we get past it? A lot of us know that we have, self-hate, that we've internalized a lot of this stuff, but what do we actually do to get rid of it? What do we actually do to manage it when it's kind of going on a daily basis? So the tools are a really, really important part of it. So that's going to be great as well. And then the last thing that I wanted to share that's going to be happening in the group as well is to actually share the signs of sacred sisterhood. What will your life look like when you start doing the work? How do you actually know when you start getting well? What does that look like? So it was important for me to have all these things in place as part of the sister circle, to give people that join an opportunity to really be able to see exactly what the internalized racism looks like, what they can do, and what the healing actually look and feels like. So that is going to be what's going to happen in the sister circle, in addition to doing the book. The book is just going to be an anchor, and to give us kind of like a point of reference for conversation. So I'm really, really excited about that. So that again is on the 27th of October, and those tickets are starting to sell. I've not even really been broadcasting the thing about the sister circle, but I've already been selling tickets just from people that the people that I have spoken to. They've just basically gone out and bought tickets. Again, that's going to be another small space, because you want to keep it really small to give people an opportunity to share and just to keep it nice and tight. So If you're interested in those things, go to events.juneallen.net and you can pick up your things there. Right, so now we are going to dive into the content. So for those of you that don't know me, for those of you that are just joining, my name is June Allen from juneallen.net, and I teach sisters how to heal from the impact of racism through racial sobriety and personal empowerment. So what is racial sobriety? Racial sobriety is your ability to stand in the truth of who you are without apology. And I've been on this journey since 2009, and I came to be doing this work through my own. I went into addiction recovery for addictive relationships, and it was a painful journey. It was a challenging journey, but it was also very empowering, and I learned how to take care of myself. I learned how to self-parent. I learned how to be self-compassionate. And, you know, throughout my healing journey, I learned that at the root of my own addiction to self-hate, all my addictive relationships, all of that was about internalized racism. I didn't like myself. I didn't know how to take care of myself. I didn't know what self-love looked like. And I learned through the 12-step recovery process that, you know, it was okay to start taking care of myself. And as I got well, and as I felt more sober, more emotionally sober, more racially sober, I just found I felt so much more confident in myself, and I became a better mother. I was able to have better relationships with my sisters, and I just really enjoyed my life a lot more. And the more I started sharing this stuff with other people, the more I realised that I was onto something, and I just couldn't keep it to myself. So it was important for me to share this stuff with you. So I'm excited to have built or be building this movement and this platform with those that want to heal, that are just not, you know, I don't do this work for people just to listen and then move on. You know, I share this stuff for those that really want to dig deep, dig in and do the work, and that are really committed to this. So I'm humbled and excited to be sharing my experience, strength and hope with you all. You know, with the intention that you can also do this work and you don't have to suffer. So that's a little bit about my story. So let's get into the content. Let's dive into the content, which I'm excited about. So today's topic is all about 10 ways that Black History Month can build your self-esteem. So number one is that it nurtures your identity. It's important to remember first and foremost that part of being human is, or one of the most basic human needs, is the importance of belonging, feeling that you belong to someone, to something, to a tribe. That is a really natural human need. And so Black History Month gives us the opportunity to be able to see each other, to celebrate each other, to look in each other's faces and to know that that person feels the same as me or wants to connect with me. That's a natural human thing. Internalized racism actually thrives on the disconnection. When we feel disconnected from ourselves, then it's very, very difficult for us to connect with people that look like us when we feel disconnected. So Black History Month gives us the opportunity to reconnect and to check ourselves as well. I know there are a few people out there that sort of say, oh, you know, why do we have to have Black History Month, and why is it just, you know, in October, and Black History Month should be all the year round. And yes, it should be all the year round. The way that I use Black History Month is not that I ignore Black History for the rest of the year. Black History Month for me, and what I'm suggesting for you to do as well, is to use Black History Month as a month to re-engage, to check yourself, to just do kind of like a little check-in with yourself about where you are around your Blackness. How do you feel about your Blackness? Are you doing enough around your Blackness? Do you feel confident? You know, do you feel worse this year than you did last year? Is there something that's happening in your life at the moment that's really particularly triggering around being Black? You know, so Black History Month is something, like I said before, just something an opportunity for you to check in with yourself and to decide on how you're going to take action around it. Celebrate it if it's all good, and if it's not, then to check in with yourself and to have a discussion around, well, what needs to happen? What needs to happen? Why am I feeling like this? So it's important to nurture your identity, and celebrating Black History Month is an important way to do that. So that's number one. Number two, like I was saying before, it's an opportunity for you to realign your cultural values. Now, what are your cultural values? Cultural values are all about those things that we do to enhance our community, to beautify our community, to to fight for justice. All of those things that are linked to who we are, that celebrate who we are. And our cultural values are the things that help us make decisions. As a Black person, what are your values around being Black? Do you, how much time do you actually dedicate to nurturing that part of who you are? Because, we're all made up of different parts of ourselves. I'm a woman, I'm a Black woman, I'm 49-year-old. So there's different categories. But when I'm talking specifically about my culture, I'm talking about those things. What are those things that I do in my life? What are my feelings around the things that I do in my life that are around my Blackness? That's what my values are. When you know what your values are, it's very, very easy to make decisions about what you want to do in your life, because your decisions are going to be based around what your values are. And if you don't know what your values are, that's when you know that other people are going to be able to suggest or force their own ideal around what their values are, because you don't have any of your own. Again, that's how racism operates. It operates that way because, we're not supposed to have a culture. We're not supposed to have any of our own values. Anything that's going to disrupt the system of white supremacy is going to be, that is basically what it means to live under the system of racism. So it's even more important as a counter-racist act to understand what your cultural values are so that you can live in them, So that's number two. Number three, if you find Black History Month really difficult, it's an opportunity to look at where we still need healing. There are a lot of us out there that are still very triggered by being Black, that are still very wounded by our Blackness, that we're still very vulnerable by our Blackness, understandably so, because we're still living under the system of racism. We still have to deal with racism on a daily basis, in the institutions, be it work, school, politics, whatever it is, entertainment, social media, whatever it is, we have to deal with it on a daily basis. And when Black History Month comes around, it's an opportunity to really, again, have that little check-in and see, okay, well, where are my cultural wounds? Do I have, is there ancestral stuff that's been passed down in my family that's nothing to do with me, that's still hurting me? Is there something that I need to do around that? Is there stuff around Black men in particular, or, that I still need to figure out? Are there wounds around Black women? Do I find it difficult to build a sisterhood? All of those types of things. These are opportunities for you to really think about, or get honest with yourself about these wounds, so that you can start to take the steps around healing them. And this is one of the reasons why it was so important for me to, create this space for the workshop that I'm going to be doing on the 27th of October, and also for the Wounded Daughters one as well on the 20th. Because there aren't that many safe Black-only spaces, Black women spaces for us to really have these conversations. And, after going to an amazing event over the weekend, I met some absolutely beautiful women. And I was fortunate enough to be asked to be on the panel where they were talking about, how the strong Black woman, how that title hurts us. And I'll be doing another live stream about that later on in the week. And it was just really good just to hear people's thoughts and feelings, and just actually how it really does hurt us on so many levels. And so we need to be able to find out how that title in of itself impacts us, and then, you know, what we're going to do about it, you know, and decide that, you know, okay, if I'm kind of living in that fantasy because other people have put that expectation on me, you know, where do I need to set those boundaries? Because then if society puts that pressure on us as black women, it means that we have boundaries that we need to set around people that are putting that stuff on us, so that we don't continue to absorb it, you know, because it's harming us. So it is important for us to keep looking and keep asking those questions, you know, where do we need the healing around our blackness? Do we feel shame around our blackness? It's all very important. It's all very, very important. So that's number 3. Number 4 is it's an opportunity for us to honour and connect with our ancestors. That is such a huge one in terms of building our self-esteem, because there are, you know, we have so many wonderful scholars, professors, people that built things, invented things, you know, from Egypt right through, you know, to today. There's so many amazing people that have created things, and you know, a lot of us today are standing on their shoulders. And so Black History Month is another opportunity to really look and what they've done and honour what they've done, and then also ask ourselves the question, how am I carrying that baton? You know, how can I transform that? How can I transform what they've done into today? How can I transform that stuff into my life? You know, how can I do that? What can I do that's going to excuse me, what can I do today that's kind of honouring those people that have, you know, that gave up their lives for us to be able to have what we have today? Who inspires you? You know, make a list of the women that inspire you. Make a list of the women that, you know, maybe you know their names, but you don't really understand a lot about what you've did and make what they've done. And make a commitment to kind of just read that, you know, you can honour them just by reading their work and sharing their work with somebody else. You know, I saw a quote today on somebody's timeline. It's the Harriet Tubman quote. And she's talking about, you know, if you hear the dogs, keep going. If you see the bees shouting, keep going. And, you know, she just says, if you really want a taste of freedom, you know, just keep going. And it made me think about the healing journey. It's the same thing in the sense that, you know, there's no perfect path. There's no microwave healing when it comes to this stuff. You've just got to be willing to, you know, even if things get painful, you just got to keep going. If you feel scared, you got to keep going. If other people ridicule you about this stuff, you just got to keep going. If you don't understand what's happening to you, you just got to keep going. You've just got to make the commitment to just keep going. And things, you know, when you've got the willingness to do this stuff, there's a way that it just seems to figure itself out. You just need the willingness and the courage and the faith to just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and things seem to work themselves out. That's how it seems to have worked in, you know, in my life, and so many other people that I know are doing this work. But you've got to be willing to just keep going, just like Harriet Tubman said. You just got to be willing to just keep going. It's so important, you know. So yeah, if you want these things, it's you've just got to keep going even if you don't feel like it. You can pause, but don't quit. Pause, but don't quit. So that's number 4. Number 5, another way that we can build self-esteem around Black History Month is to teach our children this stuff. Teach our children and celebrate Black History Month with our children. You know, a lot of us don't feel confident as parents because we weren't taught. We didn't have parents that were able to teach us about what it means to be a good parent, and because they weren't taught, you know. So a lot of us are kind of, we're either parenting, you know, what was done to us, or we're just kind of playing it by ear, you know. And that's understandable. But if you really want to build a legacy for your black children, be intentional about it. Be intentional about it and create use Black History Month again, not just to check in with yourself about where you are, but to check in with your family, to check in with your children about where you are around Black history. Are you going to enough events as a family? Are you going to enough cultural events? Not just around Black History Month, but any other time of the year. Do you go on these events regularly to celebrate your culture, to connect with other Black people, to connect with other Black children, so they can continue to build a relationship and have that mirror around what it means, and talk to other Black children about their experiences? That stuff is really, really important. Excuse me. It is really, really important. It's really, really important. And quite often I hear, or I see a lot, especially the older generation, the elders around parenting, they carry a lot of shame around their parents. A lot of them will say, well, you had shoes on your feet, and you went to church and you got clothes on your back and all that kind of stuff, and that's enough. But as human beings, it's actually a lot more than that. And I understand that, a lot of these parents just don't know. They don't understand the emotional connection that's important, as well as the physical stuff. The physical needs are important, yes, but the emotional connection and, being educated, emotional education, as well as historical education, as well as the physical stuff, they're all just important pieces of the puzzle. They're really, really important pieces of the puzzle. So to take that on board and to celebrate that with your children is such a beautiful thing to do. It's such a beautiful thing to do. And one of the ways that I kind of did that with my daughter, because, excuse me, I'm just going to have a drink. I've got a real tickle this evening, excuse me. So I was having a conversation with my daughter this evening, and, she was talking about Halloween. She was talking about Halloween, and she was like, oh, I really want to go out with my friends. I want to do trick or treat. Why don't we celebrate Halloween? And my thing is, Halloween has got nothing to do with that. How does that kind of build self-esteem? She seemed more interested in Halloween than she was about getting involved in Black History Month. Do you know what I mean? Hello, thanks for joining. She seemed more interested in what was going on at Halloween than she was talking about Black History Month. Hi, Leah. Thanks for joining. I hope you're okay. So I had to say to her, look, we don't celebrate Halloween because Halloween ain't got nothing to do with, number one, it's got nothing to do with Black history. And number two, what's that got to do with your self-esteem? How is that gonna nourish you? That's got nothing to do with us as a community. Greetings. So I was able to say to her, from the conversation that I had with her, I was able to understand that the reason that she wanted to celebrate Halloween, number one, is because it's an opportunity for her to go and eat loads of sweets, which is not great. But also, she wanted that connection with her friends. She wanted to, she wanted to feel like she belonged. And do you know what I mean, Leah? Like, I'm not going to celebrate no Halloween. That ain't got nothing to do with us. It's got nothing to do with me and us and our culture. So I'm just like, I say that we have this same conversation every year, and it's so frustrating because every year she has the same thing. Oh, my friends are all doing it, and I said, look, one thing that it's important to understand is that, as you grow up, just because you see your friends doing something, it doesn't mean that it's going to be right for us as a family. But at the same time, I also understand her needs to want to be part of a group, to be able to join in the conversation with her friends at school around, her friends are talking about what they're going to be dressing up for Halloween and all that sort of thing. So she put, being part of a crowd is way more important to our children than anything else. Yeah, I'm beginning to understand that. I'm really beginning to understand that being part of a crowd is more important to them. And I've been, we've just been looking at secondary schools and stuff with her over the last week or so, and I've been talking to some other parents, and they're saying that whole being part of a crowd thing, it kind of gets more intense, when they go to secondary school and all that. So this is something that I'm just going to have to deal with, and just kind of really be firm about what our values are as a Black family. No disrespect to other people, that want to celebrate Halloween. But for me, it's just, I just don't see the point of it. So I'm having I'm having a sort of like discussion with her now about okay, so before I kind of had the conversation with her, I was saying sort of like in my head, I was like, okay, so I understand what she wants to belong, and she wants to basically have fun. She wants to have fun. So I'm thinking, okay, well, what's the alternative? So my suggestion to her now is that, how about if I do a like a Black Girl Magic party sort of thing, or a gathering or something with her and her, her school friends can come round and do. So it's kind of like we honour Black History Month at the same time, but also it's an opportunity for her to have her friends over, and we can talk about, they can watch a cultural film or something. So she still feels like, I'm still trying to meet her need to want to belong and to be part of a group, and to have fun, and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I'm not kind of, I'm kind of not, I don't feel like I'm kind of abandoning, the family values around Halloween and all that kind of stuff. So she's kind of thinking about that at the moment. But I think you've got to be creative. You've got to be creative around this stuff, because, it's very hard kind of, living under this system when you've got children and they go to school and they with their friends, and their friends are talking about this and that, and trying to have these open conversations without me. I don't want to be kind of really dogmatic about it, but I want to be able to have a dialogue about it. So it is really important, around Black History Month, to be able to have these sorts of conversations, with my children, with my daughter, around, the importance of it. and to just to keep it open and not just kind of shut down what she wants, but to be able to have that conversation with her, and honour what her needs as well as a person. That stuff is really, really important. So what you said, New Whopping, so we celebrate ancestors day on the same day as Halloween to counter. Oh, so I'll have to look at that. Let me just see. So you've written a bit more. Let me just see. Which works for you to and don't miss out on that. Is it an event where anyone can go to? And do they have it every year? I'll have to find out about that. So so for those of you, I'm just gonna read out what Leah's saying. So basically, she's Nuwaubian. And there's a community of, correct me if I'm wrong, Leah, but the Nuwaubian people are kind of like they're quite kind of pro-Black, and they talk a lot about ancestor stuff and all that kind of stuff. We have alternatives for all the Christian holidays. Oh, I'm going to have to look into that. Because that would be good. To do it on the same day as Halloween. I'm definitely going to have a look into that. What I'll do for anyone else that watches this on the replay, I'll ask Sister Leah if she's got any other, if she's got any links or anything, and then she could, if you've got the links, actually, Leah, if you could post them in the comments for anybody else, and I'm definitely going to have a look myself, because this is something that comes up quite a lot whenever there's Christian holidays. The sensible thing is, the smart thing to do is basically to have something else on the same day to counteract it. That makes complete sense. So, and then it becomes like something that you do every year as a family, and then it doesn't clash with your own values then, if you do it that way. And it just means that there isn't that kind of, that frustration around me kind of wanting to uphold the kind of our ancestors and all of that kind of stuff, and Black History Month, and my daughter obviously wanting to kind of hang out with their friends and do all that. So thank you so much for that. That's actually really, really helpful. So that is number 5 about teaching our children. So number 6 is the way that Black History Month builds self-esteem around our Black Girl Magic as well, because we contributed to history. We contributed to world history. And so it's important to find ways during Black History Month to kind of honour our Black Girl Magic. There's so many different ways that we can do this. This frog does not want to go out my throat today. It's really sore. Yeah, it's so important to be able to honour our Black Girl Magic and do this with our kids. Do this with our children. Despite what the education system wants to do and make us think that we didn't contribute and that they're trying to shove everything into 1 month, we have contributed to world history. We've contributed to world history, and we're still contributing today. So it's important that we use Black history to celebrate our black girl magic. Celebrate our black girl magic, and to talk about it and share this stuff. And one of the ways that I'm going to be doing in Black History Month as well, to celebrate black girl magic, is to honour other black women in business. Yes, Leah. Honour other black women in business as well, and to find ways to collaborate with other black women. And even if you don't collaborate with them, just big them up, shout them out. You know, for those of you that are watching on the replay, I just did an amazing event with you know, Leah did an amazing event at the weekend, Black Women's Health Day, and honestly, I can honestly say, like, I was so happy after I did that event. I was so happy when I went home, because just to be able to connect with other black women and to talk about issues that are going to they're going to help us to heal as a community. You know, I spoke to so many women that were feeling isolated around this stuff, that kind of felt they were on their own, that knew that they needed help, but they didn't know where to go. And the fact that Leah put on this event and, you know, called people in to kind of speak on different topics, you know, that were all kind of related to our health. You know, our wealth is our health. And then, you know, I was on the panel at the end just talking about, you know, does the strong black woman hinder us, basically. And it was just really, really nice to be able to connect with so many women. And, you know, I spend so much time on social media that sometimes it's hard to connect to people. But for Leah to create that platform to be able to do that is really amazing. So, you know, if you've got any issues around, you know, raw food, womb health, anything like that, then please go to Leah's website. Leah, please drop your website link in the comments, so anybody that's interested in that. I know she's got a couple of workshops coming up as well. One's about raw food for womb health. I can't remember what the other one was about, but yeah, just drop your link in the comments, Leah, just so that anyone else that's watching this on the replay can get access to it. Yeah, so it's important. Just use Black History Month to honour your own black girl magic and honour people in the community that have done, you know, that have helped you. You know, it doesn't take a lot just to send an email. And even if you send an email, or, you know, you shout them out on social media or whatever, tag them, because quite often, you know, as a black business, you know, people are so quick to complain when things go wrong, but they're not always, you know, as coming forward when it comes to bigging up our businesses. And they're great for black businesses, because we can use them as testimonials. And if other people know that you're happy with their work and stuff like that, then, you know, tell your friends, tell someone, tell your auntie, tell your sister, tell your mum, tell your cousin, tell your church folks. You know, if you're using a black business that's really, really helped you out, or you've gone to an event that's been really good, then it is important to shout out the black girl magic. You know, don't be afraid to do that for your sisters. It's important for us. That's how we're going to grow, you know, as a community. If you've experienced something that's not been as good, then, you know, it's important to not necessarily, you're not going to cuss the person on social media or whatever, do it publicly, but do it in a way that's dignified. You can still drop them an email or whatever and just say to them, look, you know, I want to support your business, your black business, but, you know, for me, this and this doesn't work. And if that person's got any sense, if that black business has got any sense, they're going to take what you say, and they're going to do something about it. Because at the end of the day, if you can't take constructive criticism, then you shouldn't be in business. You shouldn't be in business. And if you want your business to grow, you have to listen to your customers. You know, you have to listen to your customers. There's been a few businesses that I've worked with that have had challenging things, you know, and there've been times where I have dropped them an email and I've just said, real talk, you know, I can't do business with you because of X, Y, and Z. You know, and I say it with love because I want them to win. I want black businesses to win. You know, but this is why it's important to celebrate Black History Month and use Black History Month to build your self-esteem, because if you don't have self-esteem, it's going to be very, very difficult to, to do your business, to be a good parent. All of these things are going to be impacted if you don't have really good self-esteem. So this is another reason why it was important for me to kind of set up the workshop that I'm going to be, the 2 workshops that I'm going to be doing at the end of the, on the 20th of October and the 27th of October, the Wounded Daughters live workshop in London, and also the Sacred Sister Circle. And that's to create a safe space. We need to create a sacred space for women to be able to have these conversations so we can talk amongst each other, share ideas, share tools, and just share how we feel. That in of itself is very healing, just to have a safe space to be able to share that stuff without judgment. It's so important. So number 6, shining in your black girl magic and shouting out other black girls, black women, black businesses that are doing these things is a really, really important part of. You'd be surprised as well when you shine, the more you do it, the more it's going to build your self-esteem, especially when you're doing it with other people. So yeah, shining your black girl magic is really important. Number 7 is celebrating building family rituals. We have so many, it's like what me and Leah were just talking about. There's so many of us that don't have a lot of our own rituals and stuff built into our families because we've just inherited the rituals what have been given to us from either in our own families or what society says is acceptable. We're not intentionally creating things for our own families, and this is something that I'm very passionate about, and it's an ongoing thing. It's an ongoing thing that I put into place because it's important to rebuild the cultural values that I want, that are going to celebrate who I am as a black woman, as a black family, with a black daughter, with my own family of choice in the community. It is important for me to, honour my cultural values because so much of that stuff was taken away from us. So much of that stuff was taken away from us, and I want to have the opportunity to be able to, celebrate Black History Month with my family and build our own rituals and think about the things that we like doing for fun, and either take on our own rituals or build our own. Build our own. It's very, very important, and you build those rituals by just having conversations with your family about what types of things do they enjoy, what type of things do we like to do as a family, and continually looking online, checking social media and being intentional. Have family meetings. This is one thing that I do. I do with my daughter now. Every other week or so, we have like a family meeting and we talk about, what's working in the family. Are there systems that are not working that need to be tidied up? What does she like about the family? What things did she find frustrating? So she becomes part of that conversation. She's not somebody who I just kind of dictate what's going to happen. She actually does have a voice. And I do take what she says into consideration because she is part of the family. And I don't want her to think that, that she doesn't have a say or that she doesn't matter. And that has a huge impact on her self-esteem and mine as well, because I know that I'm treating her like a human being. That I'm treating her with respect. If you want respect, you have to give respect. So, yeah, and those conversations can be quite interesting because sometimes she'll say things and, it's not at all what you think they're going to say, So just allowing, my daughter to be part of the conversation. Hi, thanks for joining. Just allowing my daughter to be part of the conversation around, building family rituals and stuff like that is very powerful. Is a very, very powerful way of building trust and building love, sharing respect. It's about mutual respect, and that's been a very important part of our kind of family life, is to talk about those things and to talk about rituals. And again, it's something that I'm sort of building on all the time, and we're having those conversations all the time and developing them all the time. Sometimes we fall off the wagon with stuff, but then we kind of put them back in. But it's about just keep having those conversations and thinking about things that, anything that's going to keep the family knitted together and it's going to help to build trust and help to, fun, to make just creating opportunities for connection is what ultimately what it is. And so that's what ritual is about. They're opportunities for connection and intimacy, emotional intimacy as a family. So that is really, really important to be able to do that. And this is something, again, that I want to, build into the workshops and stuff that I'm doing. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really hoping that, the ladies that come and join the workshop are really going to get a lot out of it. So that's number 7. So number 8 is, hi, Howard. How you doing? I hope you're well. Good to see you. It's always good to see the regulars on. Now it's so good to see you. I hope you're well. So number 8 is connecting with the community, and this is such an important one, because again, it's almost like, things get so busy, especially if you're a parent and you've got children that are in school and you're having to do school run and you have to help with homework and you're doing this and doing that. It's hard sometimes to remember to do all the cultural stuff. It's hard to keep that stuff going because there's already so much going on. But when it's Black History Month, it's almost like a reminder again to just play. And there's, so, you can, log on to the there's loads of websites and stuff about Black History Month, or you can just go on, even if you go onto Facebook and look, just put it in the search bar. There's always loads of events that come up, which I absolutely love. There's films and workshops and loads of stuff going. So, and just an opportunity just to connect with people and throw out to friends and tag people and stuff. Look, you're going to come to this, or you're going to go to that, or what about this, or what about the other. It's great. It's great to be able to have the option to go to so many different things. So use that as an opportunity to really connect with the community. And like I was saying before about Sister Leah Salmon's event on Saturday, that event was just so beautiful. And I really, really enjoyed just hanging out with people. If anybody is, is on here that went to the event on Saturday and, watching on the replay, it was just so lovely to meet so many people on social media, in person, that that are on my that I'm friends with on here, that are not on, I should get my words out in a minute. The people that are on here that I know on social media as friends, but I've not met them in real life. I met so many of them at this event on Saturday, and it was just so beautiful to be able to meet people in person. It was really, really great. I'm just really, really excited about the idea of kind of building a relationship with people and building a sisterhood with people and doing the work with people, and just having the opportunity to, with absolute humility, just kind of share how I managed to get myself out of the funk that I was in, it was just, I'm just really looking forward to being able to do that. And, because sometimes it's easy to kind of think that I'm kind of out here on my own doing this stuff. But, I love the fact that, people like yourself, Howard, that are coming on and engaging, and, I'm getting emails from people just sharing their stories, and, it's just so beautiful to be able to do that, and to go out to an event and actually see people in person and to be able to look them in the face and have those sorts of conversations. It's just a really beautiful thing. So, yeah, I'm just really looking forward to how things are going to develop over the next few months, especially around my local sisters in London, because there's going to be so much that's going to shift, and I'm so looking forward to that. So I don't know if you know how that I'm going to be doing I'm going to be doing 2 in-person workshops as part of Black History Month. One on the 20th of October and one on the 27th of October. The one on the 20th is for wounded daughters. It's a mother-daughter workshop, healing that relationship. And the one on the 27th is a workshop about, it's a sacred sister circle. And there's also going to be a book club as well. So if you go to the link in the description, events.juneallen.net, you'll find all of the details in there. So tickets are already selling already. And it is going to be a very, very small event. It's going to be sort of 10 women. They're going to be able to get tickets for that. So if you're interested in that, yeah. Yay. Yeah, so I really, at some point, Howard, we have to meet. So if you can make it to the workshop, to at least one of those workshops, that would be fantastic. So that's number, what's that? That's number 8. So number 9, one of the most amazing things about Black History Month is, it's an opportunity for you to think about how you can serve your community. How can you serve your community? We've all got a skill. We've all got a light. We've all got a gift given to us by our higher power that we can share with our community. Even if it means cooking something or, everyone's got skill. Everybody's got something that they can share. And, it's not always about money. Quite often you'll see people, with GoFundMe accounts saying, can you donate to this or donate to that? You don't always have to donate money. Donating your time is just as powerful as donating money. Giving your time and giving your heart to something that you really care about is a really amazing way of building your self-esteem. And I don't mean this in a codependent way. Don't kind of abandon yourself in the process of helping somebody else. But, give yourself permission to share something with somebody just for the sake of it. Just because you can and just because you want to. If you've got time and you can mentor somebody else, mentor somebody else. If you're in recovery and you can sponsor somebody else, share your experience, strength and hope with somebody else. One of the reasons why I share so much on a lot of these lives is because it's part of my way of service, of serving the community. And because I know how difficult it is for a lot of people to kind of share their honesty around this stuff. So it's important for me to just be honest and to let people know that you don't have to suffer. And that there are solutions to this stuff. There are solutions to it, and you don't have to isolate. And that there are people out here that really care about your well-being. I mean, genuinely care about your well-being, and that really want you to win. And that there are Black women out there that are not just interested in gossiping or bashing Black men or bashing our sisters or anything like that. There are genuine Black women out here that have compassion towards, our fellow sisters, and that, I want you to win. I want you to heal. I want you to have the tools to be able to heal. I want you to be able to have the space to be able to speak your truth and to be able to feel like you're not alone and to be able to connect with other women and to understand what's going on for you so that you can grow, so that you can heal, so that you can be a good mum, so that you can be a good friend to your sisters, so that you can build a legacy, so that you can be amazing in your job, so that you can be amazing in your business. All of these things are such important aspects of, how self-esteem impacts you. And Black History Month is a great place to kind of start that journey, a great place to kind of start having that conversation with yourself. So, serving the community is a great way to build your self-esteem because it gives you a sense of meaning as well. A lot of us don't feel like we have a sense of meaning. We're just kind of going through the motions every day because we're tired and, we've got this to do and that to do, and we don't, we're not really responding to the world. We're not responding to our lives. We're reacting to it. And that can be quite painful. That can be quite painful. So, when you actively are intentional about serving your community and doing something that's really going to help somebody else, just be out of love for your community, that is such a beautiful thing. That is such a beautiful thing. And if you do it without being attached to any outcome, and you do it just because you want to serve, you do it because you love your community and because you want people to, that's why I do it. Yes, I might make a bit of money on the side or whatever, but, my core reason for doing what I do is because I want Black people to win. I want my sisters to win. I want my sisters to win. I want my sisters to know that they're loved and that they're cherished. I want them to learn. I want Black women to first and foremost to learn how to cherish themselves. I really, really, really want them to learn how to cherish themselves. And I'm just, I'm just happy to be in a position to be able to teach you how to do what I've learned over the years. And Yeah, it means a lot. It means a lot. So, yeah, just so just reading the comments, they're so true. The getting is the giving. Giving gives you purpose. Exactly. And you can, having that sense of meaning as well is such an important part of being human. It's such an important part of being human. And I think as black women as well, we can feel like we're the mules of the world, because we're just doing what other people are telling us to do, because we don't have any self-esteem. So we just think, well, if I just do that because that person wants me to do it, then maybe I'll have some self-esteem. And that's coming from a different angle. That's coming from a place of codependency, not from a place of self-love. But when you've got self-esteem, when you're able to be really intentional about what you give to somebody else, that's a different type of energy. That's a different type of love. That's not being done out of fear, or because you're trying to get something from somebody else by doing it. It's coming from a pure place of of love and humanity, and that's a beautiful thing. That's a really beautiful thing. So that's number 9, about serving your community. And the last one, number 10, which is so important, is when you have black self-esteem, and you're celebrating Black History Month, you're countering racism. It's a kind of when you have black self-respect, you're not going to tolerate racist behaviour. You're not going. It's a way of it's counter-racism, basically. It's counter-racism, and it's doing it in a way that's not necessarily overt. You're not necessarily going out with placards or whatever saying stop doing this and whatever. Not saying that disrespect to the people that do that. But when you're honouring yourself from the inside, and you're talking about your black self-respect from the inside, you're automatically, automatically being counter-racist, because, racism is about self-hate. Racism is about disconnecting from who you are as a black person. Racism is about trying to separate yourself from your culture because you feel shame about it. Racism is about making sure that you just despise who you are as a black person so much that it's painful for you to connect with it. So in disconnecting from your culture and from your blackness, it means that you're trying to assimilate into white culture and whiteness, because you think somehow that's going to give you a sense of self and a sense of purpose. So if you're engaging in self-respect behaviours, and you're celebrating Black History Month, and you're building your self-esteem, and you're connecting with your community, and you're nurturing your family and creating rituals, this is basically telling white supremacy to sod off, basically. Telling white supremacy to sod off, and that you're not willing to put up with it. And Black History Month is something that you get to control. You get to control how you celebrate Black history. You get to control how you do your rituals. You get to control who you meet up with, and how you educate your children at home around Black History Month. What they do at school is one thing, but you can have control over what you do when you're at home with them. And that's why Black History Month is so important. And if anything, don't just celebrate this stuff during Black History Month. Use Black History Month to find ways of taking Black History Month through the rest of the year. If I can leave you with anything tonight, it's yes, celebrate Black History Month, but use it as an opportunity to build the rituals and do the mentoring and go to events. Find ways of taking the principles of Black History Month, these principles that I've just talked about, how can you carry them out throughout the rest of the year? How can you carry that out throughout the rest of the year? How can you make it part of your family life on a daily, weekly, monthly basis? That's the most important thing, because then you'll really start to celebrate who you are and honour who you are, honour your culture, and make an ongoing thing. It's not a one-stop shop in October. It's 12 months, it's 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. Racism is all of those things. So it's important for us to counteract that by celebrating who we are for the same amount of time. So it's important. It's really, really important. So that's it. So that's the 10. So let me just go through and recap. So number 1, if you're watching on the replay, obviously you have to go back to the beginning and watch the beginning. So number 1, it nurtures your identity. You know, a basic human need is to belong, to have that mirror with other black people. So celebrating Black History Month, it nurtures our core identity about who we are. Number 2, use Black History Month to realign your cultural values. When you're actually in line with your cultural values, you're going to have a lot more self-esteem. You're going to have a lot more shine. You're going to have a lot more shine about who you are as a black woman, because you're living in you know, the principles of your ancestors, the principles of your culture, whatever they look like. You get to call the shots on what they look like, you know, but as long as it nurtures the community and nurtures who you are as a black person, and honours our ancestors. These are some suggestions of how, you know, you can define what your cultural values are and how they're going to play out. And maybe I'll do another live which I'm more specific around cultural values and stuff like that. Would that be of use to people? If that would be of use to you, then drop a note in the comments, and if that's something that you think might be useful to you, is how to actually, you know, define your cultural values, then I definitely do that. Number 3, build self-esteem by using Black History Month to look at where you still need healing. You know, Black History Month can be painful for a lot of people because it reminds us of our vulnerability and all of that, and the fact that we are still being oppressed and all the rest of it. If Black History Month is a very painful time for you, then it's an opportunity to really get honest about what parts of your healing needs to be looked at. You know, where can you go and ask for help? Where can you really start to just tell the truth about what's going on for you, and specifically around the black stuff? Do you still find, you know, are you still struggling with your relationships with other black women? Are you still struggling with relationships with black men? Are you struggling with relationship with yourself? You know, these are all things that you can look at as part of Black History Month, and, you know, just getting honest around where you still need to heal. So number 4 is, it's an opportunity to honour and connect with our ancestors. You know, dig out those scholars that you've been meaning to read up about, be them, you know, current or historical. I know it's called Black History Month, but I never just look at the historical stuff. I use it as an opportunity to honour anyone that's got this rich in melanin, you know. So yeah, just use it as an opportunity to learn something new, or, you know, read something that you've already read, but you just want to absorb some greatness from you know, one of the people that we're standing on the shoulders of. So, you know, honouring our ancestors and connecting with our ancestors is a very, very important part of building self-esteem, because it gives us our identity and tells us who we are. Number 5, learn with our children. Teach our children about Black History Month. Learn with them. Don't sit in the shame if you don't know. Just be honest with your kids and learn together. Learn as a team. You know, that is really important. Number 6, remember that, you know, we contribute to world history, and it's a reminder for us to celebrate and shine in our black girl magic. Yeah, just again, use it as an opportunity to celebrate, you know, yourself as a black girl and the magic that you have, or big up somebody else, a black business that's been really good to you, that's given you great customer service, you know, that offers a service to you that's really changed your life. Yeah, this, just big up another black business, another black woman. That stuff is really, really important. You know, those of us that are contributing to the community, that are raising our children well, that are taking the time to take care of ourselves, that nurture us, you know, say thank you. Use it as an opportunity to say thank you to somebody. When you get off this live, you know, if there's somebody in your family or in your circle that's been, you know, extra kind to you about something, or cooked you a nice food, just drop them a text and just say, you know what, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for the rice and peas. Thank you for the kind words that you gave me about such and such, or thank you for being there for me when I was going through something. Use it as an opportunity just to honour another black woman. That's how you build relationship. That's how you build trust. That's how you create bonds. That's how you build sistership, is by doing that stuff. Just, it might seem like a really small thing, but you'll be surprised how much it's going to build your self-esteem and also build the esteem of the other person as well, that you're saying, that you're showing gratitude to. So yeah, just number 6, definitely big up the black girl magic. Number 7, celebrating family rituals. Again, it's another opportunity about building legacy and about honouring your children, honouring our children, and giving them an opportunity to stand in their own humanity and work as a team within the family to build rituals and build legacy and have a conversation. You keep them in the conversation and ask them what they want. Ask them what they would like to do as a family around Black History Month. Give them an opportunity to choose events that they want to go to. And if you can't find events that you want to do, build your own. I'm going to do a Black Girl Magic party or sleepover for my daughter, because, to kind of counteract Halloween. So be creative and be open, but stay true to, to what your values are. So important. Number 8, connect with the community. Do that as much as possible. It's just, I just can't say how grateful I am to have been to this Black Women's Health thing last weekend. So powerful, met so many amazing women, and we've got to be around our community in order to understand what each other's needs are, and to understand, what our wounds are, and how we can help each other, how we can support each other. And ultimately as well, when you're in relationship with other people, when you're in the community of other people, you can also understand what your needs are. You understand them, and you also understand your needs are. So you understand, the more you understand the relationship that you have with the community, the more you're going to, and you're honest about it, not necessarily to that person, because that person might not be able to heal it, but you can come home and journal about it. When you're intentional about the relationship with the community, that means that you're going to be a lot more open to your healing, open to evolving. You're open to evolving and doing the growth, what's necessary in order to make the relationship better. You can make the relationship better with those that want to be in the relationship. Not everybody, you can't be in a relationship with everybody in the community, because not everybody's ready for a relationship. Not everybody can be in a relationship because they're still hurting. They're still hurting, and hurt people will just hurt other people. Hurt people will just hurt other people. But the more you grow and the more you allow yourself to go through the healing process, you'll be able to be discerning around who you can be in touch with in the community and what's appropriate for you, and where you need to set boundaries, and that's okay. Because you've got to remember that a lot of people in the community, when they're hurt and they can't, they just can't manage it, and not everybody wants to heal, not everybody wants to. Some people are committed to their pain, unfortunately, So as I was saying, agree 100. It's about looking for familiarity rather than indifference. Exactly, and why put yourself through that pain? Why put yourself through that pain of trying to be in a relationship with somebody that just doesn't want to be in that, that can't be in that? It's not that they don't want to, but they can't, because they don't have the tools, or they don't have the openness. Some people are committed and addicted to the drama. Some people are addicted to their pain, and they can't be in relationships. So they just, they're so used to chaos that that's all they know, and then they just create chaos wherever they're at, wherever they are. They just create chaos, So it's important to connect with the community, but be discerning about it. So that's number 8. Number 9, serving the community. Serving the community, you can really build your self-esteem, because it really helps you to connect with people that actually want, that want help, and also it nurtures you at the same time. And I've experienced this so many times. When you're nurturing other people in the community, you feel nurtured yourself. And that's the kind of universal law, the law of, I don't know what you call it, how you pronounce it now. Is it reciprocity or whatever you call it? But basically, what you give out, you get back. It's that one. What you give out, you get back. So if you've got a gift and you can use it to serve the community, you can use it to empower, another Black person, another Black child, because we need it. Our community needs the gifts to be able to heal. So if you've got a gift and you want to share it with somebody, you can share it with somebody, even if it's your time. Do that. Definitely do that. And the last one, number 10, just to recap, is black self-respect. You know, when you have black self-respect, that by default is how you practice counter-racism. Counter-racism is not necessarily going out, you know, with placards and cussing white people or whatever it is. You know, it's also about when you do the internal work, that by default is counter-racism. That by default is counter-racism, because you're basically behaving the opposite of what the system wants you to do. So that is so that is really important. So Black History Month gives you that, because we're celebrating our culture, we're celebrating who we are, we're celebrating our melanin magic, we're celebrating each other, we're celebrating our culture and redefining our values. You know, these are all things that are really, really important for building self-esteem in Black History Month. So that's the 10 things, the 10 ways that Black History Month builds self-esteem. Has anybody else got any questions or anything they want to ask me about this? There's no other questions in here. Has anyone else got any other questions? If you found this live, you know, if you found it valuable and you know somebody else that you will find it useful, then definitely, you know, share it with them. Share it with your aunt, tag your sister, tag your mum, tag your cousin, anybody that you think might find this useful. You know, share it with them. Share it with them. So yeah, if you found this, if you are interested in the workshops that I shared at the top of the broadcast, then don't forget to check the links in the bio. It's events.juneallen.net. So that's the 2 workshops, one on the 20th, which is the mother and daughter one, and one on the 27th, which is the sister circle. Oh, you're welcome, Howard. I'm glad you found it useful. I'm really, really glad you found it useful. I'm going to be doing a lot more lives over Black History Month. This is kind of like the kick-off one, but I've got so many things that I want to share with you over Black History Month around self-love and all of that kind of stuff. So if you've got any questions, or there's something specific that you want me to share, that you want me to do a broadcast on, then by all means either drop it in the comments or, you know, DM me, and we'll definitely, you know, I'll definitely get that on the list of things for me to share about over Black History Month. So I'm really looking forward to hanging out with you guys, building relationship. If you can make it to the workshops, that would be awesome, because I'd love to meet you guys in person if you can. So that's it for today's session. So I am actually going to be doing another broadcast tomorrow. So what am I talking about tomorrow? I don't know. I'll pick one, but I've got I'm going to be doing another one tomorrow. So I'll drop it on my page actually, so you can see exactly what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow. So I will see you then. So your sister in service is about to sign off. Have a wonderful evening, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.